So tell me how many times you've felt disrespected by somebody who's either completely ignorant or willfully rude to you, and you took that energy and you just ran with it, you kept it, you stayed mad, felt upset. Maybe you went and talked to your friends or your coworkers about it, and you're just like, oh, this person, they did this and that to me. And while it's, justified to sort of, I don't know, judge them because they deliberately did something bad or wrong towards you, you go and you talk about it and you just further, you know, exacerbate that negativity, which is ultimately what you're doing is regurgitating, re-perpetuating the negativity. That's one of the major reasons why not to meet negative people with negative energy, whether it's directly or indirectly, whether it's in your head or whether it's gossiping about it with friends later on. Because what you're doing is you're reinforcing the negativity, you're re-perpetuating it, you're continuing it. It could have just ended there and you could have just moved on and had a better day, but you're making a worse day out of it. You're making a worse moment out of it. What, for some temporary catharticism of like, oh, it feels better to just get it off my chest and to gossip and complain about it. Does it though? Does it really? Because I don't think so. But one of the key, or a few key points to really think about and embody when it comes to not actually doing this, to genuinely get yourself to the point of not doing it, is to remember, first of all, that point where when you continue the reaction past about, I don't know, 16 seconds or so, because obviously you're going to react to something that's blatantly wrong, and that's normal because that's just having a moral compass. But taking it past about 16 seconds is really where you're just doing yourself a disservice. You're regurgitating and perpetuating the negativity, and you're continuing to use it to manifest with, because the thing is what you're manifesting from is all about how you feel and your energy. So why would you want to go and complain and focus on the negativity of others? It's irrelevant. That's reason number one to not do it. To remember that it'll help you, really, if you think about it like that. And reason number two is to understand that these people are operating from a place of pain, first of all, and second of all, they're honestly reaping what they sow. So oftentimes you feel maybe the need to complain or to gossip or maybe even retaliate to them. Whatever it is, whatever reaction you have, maybe it's in your head, maybe you feel that that is a necessary decision or action because you feel the need to either defend or retaliate in some sort of like carrying out justice, like sort of like getting back at them, like something needs to be done, otherwise they're not going to be held accountable, that kind of a thing. But the thing is no. You don't need to be the universe. The universe is taking care of that already. If that's the person that they are, whether it be temporarily or throughout their entire life, that's the point that they are manifesting from, straight up. Like if they're being rude or intolerant or ignorant, that's where they're manifesting from. So not only are they creating from that energetic space in life, in reality, and getting that as their reflection, which is probably why they act like that, because they're re-perpetuating their own negative cycle and projecting it outwardly. But it's just like, think about like where someone has to be mentally, psychologically, emotionally in order to do some explicitly negative things to other people. Not to say that it's, it gets them off the hook or anything. They're still to be held accountable in their own way, not from you or anyone else, but in their own way. They're still culpable for that. But at the same time, it's like they're just expressing pain, because hurt people hurt people. That's how it is. People who are hurt, have emotional pain and woundage and baggage, they put that outwards because they don't want to look at it. They don't want to do anything with it. So they put it out to the universe and they project it outwardly. They don't want to take accountability or responsibility. So there's point number 2 is it's just a person ultimately working with the best tool set that they have available to them, which is hardly anything at all when it comes to dealing with these kinds of emotional nuances and things like that. And the third point really that helps with this is realizing what, and I don't know, I guess, if this is all of the time, if this is a blanket statement, I guess you could say, or works in every scenario, but something I've realized what's going on psychologically with you or with me when we're in these moments where it's like you feel the need to retaliate or to get angry or to complain. What's going on is basically you're essentially kind of going into a protector mode for your inner child, for your past self. And here's where I get into example time. Basically, I was running some food at my restaurant job, and I took the meal over to these people, and I gave one of the people the wrong food, basically. And they're like, oh, what's this? Because someone ordered basically a sandwich without bread, and I had 2 different tickets. One of them was like, says no bread on it, and I thought that was for him. It was actually for a different table. And he's all like, oh, what's going on here? And, and I'm like, oh, it says that on the ticket. I can go out, talk to your server and see what's up. And so I went back to where the food was at, the window. And I realized, oh, I made the mistake. So I went back to him, brought him his food. And it's like, hey, I apologize. I made the mistake. There was a different ticket. I did this wrong. And then they just gave me this energy of like, I don't know, it was just a negative energy. He's like, yeah, that's how it's supposed to be or something like that. Like, it was just so like just ridiculous. It's like I didn't do anything wrong. I wasn't rude to you. I apologized. I was accountable. I admitted my fault. And they're just acting like basically privileged children where they're just like, being rude. And so what I wanted to do is continue that being mad. So it was like this past, it was like a reflection of my past where I, as a child, maybe felt judged or looked down upon, or other people were upset with me or mad at me or rude toward me because of something that I didn't do that was up to their standards or whatever have you, basically along those lines. So it's just feeling inadequate, feeling not enough. And then that feeling in the, maybe back then, but more so now, brings up the anger in me because it's like, no, I am good enough. I am adequate. I am someone. Just because I make mistakes, because we all do, because we're human, doesn't mean that I'm bad at my job, doesn't mean that I'm inadequate or inefficient or incompetent at life or being human or being alive or doing things. It doesn't mean that I'm stupid, but that's the response that I kind of felt, is like they're treating me like I'm stupid. So it's like when you get into those moments where you're feeling like anger at someone who is willfully disrespectful or ignorant towards you, maybe it's because you're going into protector mode and you're feeling this need to protect your inner child from feeling inadequate, feeling not good enough. And so understanding that, hey, it's all right. I am good enough. Thank you, anger, for trying to protect me. I understand what you were trying to do. And that's a good way to deal with anger, by the way. But, not denying these negative emotions, but honoring them, realizing what they're doing for you. But it's just like, okay, thank you for trying to protect me, but I'm okay. I'm fine. Other people do not get to determine my worth. What they are doing is projecting how they feel about themselves, not a verdict of my worthiness. So that's where they're at, that's just them, their behavior. They're just, that's where they're at. Not in a judgmental way, not in a, oh, people are just rude assholes, fuck them. No, not like that. Just in a, that's where they're at. Who knows what kind of childhood they had? Who knows what lack of understanding that they've received and mental tools in order to just deal with life. Maybe they grew up in an abusive household. Maybe they grew up around people who solved their problems with berating others. You don't know. So it's just like they're just projecting their own emotional mess, and it has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with you. So applying these kinds of understandings can really help you get to a place of not meeting people's negativity with negativity and not reacting and doing these kinds of things and then just making it worse for yourself because you're just taking their energy, making it your own, and then bringing that forward into your life and manifesting from it. Because I'll tell you what, it's so easy to do that. And that's what the grand majority of people on this planet do. Something happens and they're like, look at what this person did to me. We need to all talk about this and we all need to judge them. We all need to say how bad they were. It's wild. And I get it. I'm not judging people who do that because I've done that so many times. So I know what it's like. But that's the thing. So with those kinds of understandings and also with the basic emotional tool of understanding those negative emotions. So it's like, okay, you can apply this, by the way. When you have a negative emotion like this, you can be like, okay, I am feeling judged. I am feeling berated. I am feeling like not enough. And then it's like, okay, and I'm feeling this because I choose to. It's not them making you feel that way. That's an easy way to cop out and not take responsibility and not level up, not be an empowered individual, is to be like, oh, they made me feel this way. No, they didn't. They offered you the choice to feel that way. And then you can take that optional choice and you can move forward with it. So you take that emotion and you're like, I chose this. I am choosing to feel this emotion. And then you say, why would I choose to believe that it serves me in order to feel this way? So in the case of anger, maybe it's you believe it serves you, like I said, to protect you. Or in the case of feeling inadequate, feeling incompetent, maybe in the past it felt safe to accept others' judgment of you. So that's like an old habit. But it's really digging deep and understanding why would I choose to believe that it serves me, to feel this way. Because that's the only reason you would be doing it, is because on some fundamental level, you're thinking that it benefits you, serves you to do that, to feel that way. And so another great question to follow that up with, that whole process, is be like, what would I have to believe about me is true in order to feel this way? And if it has anything to do with you being not good enough, you being incompetent or unworthy, it is false, objectively, because you are good enough. You would not exist otherwise. The universe doesn't make mistakes. You existing means you are worthy, means you are good enough, means you are competent, means you are beautiful, means you are amazing, means you are worthy of fun and exhilaration and passion and joy and ecstasy and all of the above and everything in between. You are good enough. End of story. So if you're believing something about yourself that like you're stupid or you're incompetent or anything like that, or someone else's verdict of you in a negative light, the pain of that feeling is telling you that it's not true. The pain of accepting that as your reality is evidence that it's not true, because you're accepting a belief system that doesn't work with you. So that's therefore the result of accepting a illusory and false belief is that it's painful. That's it. So, and also another thing to think about with this is it takes patience with yourself, because you're not going to be perfect. You're not going to be completely Zen, Buddhist monk mode and just never react. It's going to happen. Getting triggered and reacting is part of your excitement, because it's an opportunity to look at what's going on, to address it, to take accountability for what emotions you are choosing to feel, and to evolve from it, to be better, to understand, and to move forward. And don't forget, if you want some one-on-one help to understand the emotions you're experiencing and to get to a better place in your life, feel free to look at that link in the description and book a free 30-minute call with me where you can find out what's going on. And so basically that's all I got for you today. As always, thank you so much for watching.